Okay. Let me check something here real quick just to make sure we are getting. All right, we are. We're doing good. Hello, everybody. It is Badger Wild, and we're back with more Space Engineers build streams going on. We are still working on the missile destroyer, making something kind of nifty. Um, Going along in there, I forgot to put the airlock mod on here. I didn't realize it until after I had gotten on here. I had planned on using that, but we'll just get by with it today without having to get on it too much. So let's take a look at our little ship here. What we've got going on. So I've got a thruster that has gone rogue on me, and we're gonna take care of him real quick, and then we're gonna install another thruster here. I don't know where my air leak is. I have an idea of where it could be, and I have a. Oh, wait, whoa! I'm missing some thrusters all over the place, aren't we? That's impressive. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna hop in here, and we're going through our handy dandy airlock that we have here. Let's just disable that. We can walk on through here. And I think we're going to go into engineering. Now you can see engineering here is working out beautifully. The problem is I have a leak here somewhere. Somewhere in this room, there's a friggin' leak, and I don't know where the leak is. I've looked everywhere, and I can't find it. It's very annoying. Very, very annoying. I don't know where the air is going. Because even if you open up the vent and let something out, it doesn't tell you exactly what's going where. I have this sneaking suspicion that it is going out here, though. I have a suspicion that it may be slipping out from here, but I've never had that as a problem. And I've got some sealing on the other side of it. So that's a problem. That's an issue that I've got. I don't know how to fix it. Um, it would require me to download the air mod, which is going to be the easiest way for me to find this stupid leak and fix it. Because you can see up there well, let's just go up here on this. You can see here we're not getting anywhere with that, and I can't figure out for the life of me where this leak could be at. I have a sneaking suspicion that there's an air vent here somewhere or a pipeline or something. Now these pipelines, they're all corridored off in the back here. I have a sneaking suspicion that there is a pipe or something or a conveyor that is preventing me from sealing this room off. And until I get the leak mod, there is no way I'm going to be able to find that. So, yeah, we can't do anything about that right now. Now we do have the under hangar area, which this is a nice large area. You can see the hangar bay. Hangar bay is looking nice. Got that done. Um, we got a way to it finished. I do need to put some lights in one of those areas. And then we have this area here through here, which is our main entryway. That's how you get in the ship. And then we have our medical room here, which I plan on painting this stark white. We then have the food court area, which is looking good. And then last but not least, we have crew quarters, which is just two big double bunk areas, enough to carry the entire crew Anything worth salvaging, send out the drones. Mofo. Someone has to be stupid. Now we have an airlock here, which opens up into our missile drone areas. So I can start chucking missiles at a target if I have to. And then we have this little area we can drop down into, and I can access our F-302 fighters, which are all down there. For this particular moment, we're going to look over there at the salvage carrier. And I think we're just going to screw with him a little bit. Let me get in here. Okay. We have access to this. Shoot. How do I turn this off? We're going to do some test firing today. And it turns out that little retard down there who's looking for things to salvage is about to end up with a whole lot of problems. He just doesn't know it yet. And let's turn this thing here towards that SPRT salvage carrier, just like so. Number 3. Let's see, do we have missiles built up yet? Okay, missiles are built up. We have a target line of sight. Let's fire off. Volley 1, volley 2. Reset them back up. Volley 1, volley 2. And that should be interesting once it gets to once it gets within range. See, this is the reason, and this is also the reason why I'm going to minimize the amount of heavy guns. I think that back platform there for a destroyer unit to be sent off, for like a shuttle or something like that, I don't think we're going to put that there. I think we're going to put just some type of turret or something there. We may put a turret there, we may not. I don't know. Kind of wondering where my missiles went. I can kind of see them. Oh, hey, they're engaging something. They engaged something. Something got whacked. It apparently did not like. Oh, yeah, it's something. Either it hit something, or it has taken it out. One of the two. Let's send this up here like so. I think I've got more. We're gonna launch more missiles. You guys are gonna love this. Or at least the pirates aren't. Nope, they are just targeting something floating down there. I'm not sure what they're targeting. I think it's the... Yep, they're flying right past it, though. None of them are actually hitting it. I would love for one of them to actually hit the target. That's going to be a dumb problem to deal with for a while. Now, they're whooping the snot out of it, but they're not actually hitting it or blowing up. And the problem here is that thing is not going to be targetable. Oh, I hope they don't come back and hit one of these ships that I have here. Okay, let's see. Can I them up? Is he not getting closer? Yes, he's getting closer. Let's fire off 1, fire off 2, and start rearming. Let's send them off that direction. And they're heading way off. Whatever we hit before must already... Nope. Here they come. They are... What are they doing? Do tell me they're not going to fly past the ship. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Yep. Okay, we have some damage now because the missiles apparently decided to go chase after some random piece of crap. This is the one problem with missiles. This is just the big problem with missiles in general. Fortunately, we have an ACL system. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to fix all that. Damage is minimal. We didn't lose a whole lot. Ah, that stupid piece of crap. Where is it? Wherever it's at, it's floating away. So that'll be all right. Pulled back, and the stupid probably should have shot forward. The problem is that stupid thing is in the way. Let's just power this sucker forward and see if we can't target him again. Because the problem is that one little drone. They sent out a drone. That's the problem. The problem is they sent out a patrol craft. Alright, let's try this shit again. One. Did I hit the right one? Nope. Alright, we're close enough. It should target him instead this time. Oh boy. What has happened here? Nothing's launching. Oh, what the hell? Turn that on. Turn that on. Give it a minute. Okay. Maybe that was the problem? I seem to have accidentally turned off the system. Hopefully they decide to go target that dude. We're going to start juking to the side here. Hopefully... Oh, nope. There they go. I can see them moving on my screen. I don't know if you guys can. But we're about to see somebody get hit multiple times if he doesn't start shooting here in a minute. They're apparently charging right after him. Let's give him some more problems. Fire one. Fire two. And rearm. I will let them just go charging off there. What is that? I seem to have a few missiles that apparently did not weld up, I suppose. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, we've got a missile that is locked in the tube. Fortunately, we can just drop down here a little bit. But an X setup for the nacelles would look really cool from Eric Evans. Yeah, I probably would, actually. I'm not going to lie. All right, let's see. He's just sitting way up over there. I think I have. What's that? Oh, okay. I've got him in range. I've got him in target. He's gonna rue this. Firing. Firing. Now we activate number 3 to reload all of our equipment back up. Oh, he's sitting there wondering, wait, I'm gonna get in range. It's a great idea, dude. Watch as I just chuck more crap at your direction. Firing torpedoes. Firing torpedoes. Rearming again. He's like, oh, we're coming over here to pick a fight. The salvage carrier is trying to get within range. He has not. He's either running, or the missiles have not targeted him yet. That, or he's been hit by the missiles, and they're just kind of knocking him out of the way right now. Tell you what we'll do. Let's launch. I'm going to rush him. I want to see what kind of damage is happening. Okay, I'm seeing explosions all the way over here. See if he's getting hurt by us at all. His beacon's gone out. He may be dead. He may be dead. We may have ended him. That's a whole lot of crap flying towards him. Is he still able to defend himself? Pirate short range antenna. Oh, he is firing away, I bet. I think he is firing away and he's trying to defend himself desperately. Oh, the missiles are coming in hard and fast. Oh yeah, he's firing. He's desperately trying. Oh, they missed. Why does that happen? Is he alive though? No, he's jacked up. He's missing a freaking engine. He's been hit. It looks like the whole front of his ship got blown off. Yep, there's a missile coming in. Yeah, they're flying some kind of salvage looking thing, but it looks like it took some serious damage. I can see some damage right in this area here. Looks like the whole cockpit got blown out. Well, he's fighting with everything he's got left. Where is our, there's our ship. Like I said, at the distance this thing, could be can fire from. It's ridiculous how much firepower it's got. Because at the distance you can fire this thing from, missiles are kind of an OP thing, especially when they just fly up there and just smack you in the face whenever they want. Now he is wild weaseling like nobody's business out there though. I don't think he wants to start any more fights. We've kind of ended the whole come and pick a fight nonsense. The bigger the ship, the worse this is going to be though. We've seen what happened with the Providence when we were testing against that later on. Let me see here. Eric Evans or the launch drones in the drone carrier are defending. They could be defending. They could not be. Simple fact of the matter is, he got his butt kicked, so he's not too interested in fighting with us. Let's see here. Oh boy, we got some damage inside this thing. I'm gonna have to try and repair this, darling. And fix a whole lot of systems while I'm at it. Hang on here. So yeah, we did prove one thing. This thing has the ability to hurt something. And that missile impact did wild amounts of damage. Yeah, I can see a lot of just messed up stuff right here. Yeah, that one guy was just wild weaseling like nobody's business after that first round hit him. And you can see how the nacelle system just protects the entire ship from an impact. Because one, it's very hard for the system to hit something, and two, it defends it quite efficiently. Now, yeah, we did take some damage, but that's going to happen. So even this thing can take a hit from its own missiles, and it'll just keep on ticking. That's what we call good design. And that guy out there, he's off in the ether somewhere trying to figure out what his next move is. He's just like, dear God, we don't want to fight that nonsense again. So, the other problem I've got is I got to rebuild this nacelle real quick. And if I'm looking at this correctly, I think this is an endpoint nacelle. So, if I'm actually correct, I don't think I need anything crazy here. I think this is just a one point here. Let me grab that, and this is a corner block. So do that there, and then we just got to strap another engine in here. And then just coat this thing, and that's it. And the engine's back up and running. The nacelle's back up and running. Almost cut it in half, but it's like, even that's the cool part about this nacelle. And this is a pretty cool way for y'all to see how this nacelle system actually works in real combat. Because when it got hit, this thing didn't just die automatically. Usually, an impact to a hydrogen tank is fatal. Though we didn't lose a hydrogen tank, even if we had lost a hydrogen tank and it cut off this nacelle, we still got hydrogen thrusters inside here that will operate with it. We just lost a little bit of power. Classic glass cannon. No, not really. It could be a glass cannon, I suppose. It could be. But it operates way better than a glass cannon because it's more of a standoff range ship. I don't need to blow you up from I don't need to get close and personal with you. Now, if we built a brawling ship, that would be a completely different design in its own right. So there we go. We got all that in there. You can see the patch job going on here. Let me see. Okay, yeah. That's all I need. And the ship is kind of moving a little bit, so that's one issue. Yeah, there we go. You can see the patch job right there and how we just patch that up real quick. And it's a quick patch, and then this thing is back into the fight. So, of all the things I've got to do to this stupid ship to make it work, we do have a Factorum down there I'd love to start picking a fight with, but we're not going to. This thing is going to need some defensive capability, and I think the best thing to do would be to give it that forward-facing defense right here. And that's going to mean adding some defensive blocks here on the front of this thing. You can name it the Trebuchet. No, we're going to name it, I think we're going to name it the Vulture or the Buzzard. One of those two. Someone came up with the idea of the Buzzard, and the Buzzard sounded great. I am going to try and build a Corvette at some point in time, just in game. Excuse me while I drink some water. I would like to build a Corvette in game. And the kicker here. I got to figure out which of these is which. That's going to be difficult. I got to figure out which of these is which. I guess we're just going to have to go in and do the old grinder trick again. Also, I think Dog was wanting to get on here. I don't think I have this thing set to multiplayer. That's the only problem. We're going to use a light grinder for this work because... Alright, there we are. I'm going to go back inside the ship here real fast. And we're going to turn... come on. I'm going to turn the gyros back on. There, that stops a whole lot of the jitters that's happening. The nacelles look somewhat vulnerable. Yeah, Dylan, that's what's supposed to happen. Crap, I don't have the system set up. These nacelles are actually defensively functional. We just took a hit from a missile right over here, and it knocked a chunk out of the nacelle, but it didn't blow the whole ship up. That's the thing. The way these nacelles are set up, I've done a video on how I do them. This is, if I recall correctly, I believe this is 2 large hydrogen tanks worth of hydrogen are stored inside of these nacelles. And if you look at the nacelles, they are 3 blocks wide by, I want to say, 3 blocks tall. And what we're doing is we're taking a bunch of small hydrogen tanks, daisy chaining them together with enough distance that when they explode, we have a controlled explosion in a baffle. So it doesn't detonate and take the entire ship out. We don't lose all our hydrogen at once. So this thing can take a licking. It's not that it can't take a hit. It can take a hit. The other thing is this ship is not designed for a close range fight. It's not a brawler. That's not what we're building here. We are building kind of a semi missile boat slash fighter carrier. Underneath here we have our fighter bay that just all our fighters hang off the bottom here, and we have enough room here for 3 fighters. Each fighter will be able to carry 4 missiles each, and that's just their personal armament. Up here, we've got 10 missile tubes that I'm going to have to finish programming and everything else. All these missile tubes will just fill the missiles back up. We can rebuild the missiles again and then just start launching them at the target. And we done took out a pirate with this thing already earlier in the stream. Just blew him right off the freaking map. He was not happy. He was not happy at all. Okay, so what are we doing here? Oh, no. What is that? What did I do? Okay, that's okay. That's all right. Let's find something I can grab hold of. Control panel. All right, advanced rotor. Let's see, which one is that? It's right. We'll call it right flak. Or no, it's left. That'll be our quad cannon that we'll be shooting. So that'll just be flying in there. So when something comes in, it'll be like, oh yeah, we're going to take you out. Like if fighters get close, this thing has to have some defenses. It's not going to be getting into battles with another big ship. And I'm going to go ahead and knock this out real quick. All right. That should give me another rotor head here. Let's just slip on in here. Rotor. Rotor. Well, that didn't do what I wanted to do. So I'm going to have to go back over there and get that thing turned back off. Let's see here. Eric Evans. In the middle of building the YT 1930 Corellian freighter, interdictor class, maybe with the ability to aerial denial from range, possibly. What this is going to do, we're going to have at least 1 flat cannon on each side and 1 CWIS on each side. So it's not a screening vessel. It has a specific role, which is go in there. Like I said, it's a destroyer. You fly in there with this thing, and then you just start blowing shit up from a distance. And if they decide to come in and get you, well, you have an answer for that. The answer is going to be these guns on the side. That's going to be the last answer. The primary answer is we're going to have these 3 fighters on the bottom, which will be deployed and just be sitting out there waiting to be told, hey, go do this nonsense. Go take care of this problem. Okay, where is this? Let's try this again. Rotor 2. We're going to call you left CWIS. So I know where that is. Okay, we're just going to have to do this. We're going to have to label these real fast. And then we got to build these guns up. And I think for the CWIS guns, I might put I may put in like miniguns firing off. I know I'm gonna put quad barrels on this over here, But for this, I think we're going to do 2 miniguns firing in a stream, so we just have double firepower, just landing and just hammering away at something. So let's see, go back to 5. I'll tell you the thing that irritates me the most is Nintendo right now. And not for the reasons y'all think. Because some of y'all are sitting here thinking, oh, wow, Badger's mad about the Power World. I am mad about the Power World thing. The thing that's really irritated me is I have No Man's Sky for Switch. And I can't access the new Voyagers update, which is pissing me off right now because it has not updated. Now, I haven't checked it today. I've been checking it every day, but I have not checked it this morning. So fingers crossed they start putting the Voyager update in the game and I get access to it. Let's see. Right. CWIS. There's our right CWIS right there. Actually, hold on. I can just go ahead and finish the other one up right now, and I don't even have to grind it. Hey, look, progress. All right, advanced rotor here. And we are simply going to call that right flak gun. All right, that's our right flak. Left flak, left CWIS. There we go. All right, we got that going. Why do we need something like this? Because, and I'm going to explain this right now. If these are not labeled, then I'm going to have a tough time making custom turrets for this thing, because that's one of the things I want to put on this, is some custom turrets. I don't know. We may add a few more guns going down the side here somewhere. We may add a gun somewhere. I was thinking about adding a few baseline turrets right over here if possible, but we'll see. We'll see. So now, first turret. What are we going to make this? What are we going to make? What I need is a hinge. Obviously. Where's my hinges at? There we go. Hinge time. So here's what we're working with. We have a hinge. We're going to set this hinge in there. And I should be able to... Sometimes you can access stuff like this. But yeah, that's gone. This is what I love about Space Engineers, because when the last time when I did a live stream where I was working on hinge weapon systems, the major issue that we ran into was I had trouble putting them in position, and then Keen just comes along and says, "Hey, we're going to make that a feature now. You can just add a small rotor head to it if you want." All right, hinge. So one of these here, I don't know where that's supposed to be at. Where's that hinge? That's what I like to know. Let's add a small head to that. And then this hinge, I'm going to make it right flak, so I know which one it is. And I have a deal already on it. So we got that done. And there we are. We have this tiny little rotor hinge right here that I can use to start shooting at things. So what we're going to do is we're going to build a small flat gun turret there. And then I'm going to start building the flat gun turrets individually as we start going. So first off right now, what I need to do, let's be honest, what I need to do is I need to build this stupid turret before stupid stuff happens. So we got number 6 here. And we're just going. We're going to do this little trick here. I know I'm yawning, folks, but I'm not super tired. I have actually gotten some sleep. I'm just exhausted. Not from lack of sleep. I'm exhausted from working. Oh boy. boy, is that correct. Let's look over here and make sure. Okay, okay. Yeah, it's working. It's working great. So now the next thing I want to add on here, we need to add some guns. Let's look over here. We don't need this no more. Let's grab this big rocket launcher here. And start adding. No, that's not what I want. I want this. This is what I want. There's a 1. There's... Come on now. 2. 3. And there's 4. So now we have these quad cannons. I love having quad cannons on a freaking unit. It's awesome. Quad guns are great because they just start smoking things as you start firing. It is awesome to have these quad auto cannons as they just start firing at everything that moves. And they start ripping things apart. They're amazing. I love them. Actually, I got to looking at it here, and I think I may have made a boo-boo. It's going to be a weird... Yeah, let's take those out. So the problem I've created for myself here, clearly, is I didn't need all that. I don't know why I did it like that. I was going to look at it and realize I don't need a bunch of bulk crap there. I just need this to do that. That's it. That's all we need. Okay. And plus, this will actually work in my favor because then the cannons will actually look a little bit better. Okay. Number 8. Back to auto cannons again. I don't know why you keep doing that. And we'll do that there. And now the muzzle brakes are in the right position right now. So that'll work out. See, progress. I'm trying to figure out. Whoa. No, not progress. Ah, that is weird. I have something weird going on. What do I have to do here? Is it T that's doing that nonsense? Where it sits there and doesn't listen to a dadgum thing I tell it to? There we are. Number 8. Let's see if that hasn't fixed it. There it is. I was wondering what that problem was. So now we have one flat gun right here. We're just going to keep adding. I've got to label all of these to all this stuff. This is very tedious stuff, by the way. When you're building turrets, it can get tedious. They are very expensive. They're very difficult. They can be difficult to build in-game. I'll just take that as a sign. Go to bed. Hopefully it don't. Hopefully it don't. Hopefully it don't. We're going to keep going. Nope, we're back. We're back. Must have been a commercial. Dang ads. Necessary evil, folks. I'm just going to tell you right now. It's a necessary evil. If I had a choice, we wouldn't do it. If I had a choice, I'd just get paid for y'all to see me. That's it. That's all it would take. But like I said, necessary evil. As I was also saying, this is one of those things that's very, very tedious to do. Let's do number 9 right here. We're going to do kind of a pointy thing going on. Oh, these juggers look pretty mean. But we're going to put our camera right here in the middle. If I can find a camera. I know I got one here somewhere. Come on. Camera. I don't have a camera. Where's the camera? Alright, camera done. And then I just need some glass. Just a little window here. Cover the camera. Keep it safe. And the camera can just do whatever it wants. Now, the next thing I need to add on here is going to be a turret control block. I think we're going to put that in the bottom here of the turret. That seems like it'd be the best option here. So let's find the turret control block. I'm pretty sure I've got one somewhere here. If not, well, we'll just open ourselves up for one. And it appears we don't. So we're going to put that there. And then where is my turret control block? Right there. We're going to take the turret control block like so. Boom. And it'll be on the bottom. So it's not killing us in any way, shape, or form. All right. Azimuth rotor. Advanced. Let's see. Which one is this? Advanced right. Flat gun. We need our hinge. Hinge right. Oh, and that camera. Okay, we need to name this camera right flank. There we go. And then also the autocannons. Where's our autocannons at? We gotta name all these guys. It's gotta be an easier way. Alright, we're just gonna put RF on each one of these. Because why not? These will be for the right side. It's not going to matter what I do here. Go back into that again. Assign camera. Camera right flank. And I am going to just simply grab that. Wide select. Add tool or weapon. Enable AI. And now it's just a matter of skinning it. Making it look good. So now we have this simple flat gun just sitting over here ready to start ripping and tearing into anything that gets too close to the ship. What we're going to do now, I'm going to hop over here. I'm going to grab a couple of blocks. And all we're going to do is we're just going to start filling this bad boy up. So we got some nice firepower. I do want to build a ship. There's a ship idea I've been wanting to play around with. I'm trying to remember the guy that did the ship design because it was amazing. Anyway, he did a Mark II B-Wing that we never got to see in Star Wars. And I love it. I love it. I love the concept of it. Oh, wow. Gravity is the thing over here. Well, I'm having some fun. Okay, let's just shove those there. And we'll go back to this. There we are. I think we can leave it like that. That'll look good. It's got some character to it. So we got one turret completely finished. But yeah, it's a type of B-Wing that had like a cabin in it. And I know people have done B-Wings where they haven't, where the side can rotate. I was thinking more along the lines of building one that didn't have to rotate, just had like the wings that folded out, and it was just like a straight line, big giant flying wing, and using that as like a hero ship in game. The question I have for myself, though, is at the size I would have to build that thing, I don't know if doing it out of small blocks or large blocks would be the best option. Food for thought. Let's go ahead and name this flat cannon here turret control while we're at it. Turret controller RF. That'll deal with that. So now we've got one of our cannons done. We can now work on how we want the CWIS guns to operate. And I think what I want to do is go with something slightly smaller. Let's do that. Can I put a... So we got a hinge and a hinge part. What happens if I delete that? Let's just delete that. We're going to see if we can do something a little different here. And we put a medium-size rotor on there. Rotor here. I believe that's the right CWIS. Yes, we can put a medium head on there. That's going to be fun. That's going to be a fun one. Let me get my controllers all set back up. So now we can set a slightly smaller unit there. And I'm going to delete the head off that. And we're going to name this differently, but it's going to be an actual CWIS looking gun. So it's going to be slightly smaller. So it's going to give us a little bit more of a dimpled gun, which will be a little tinier, a little smaller than the big, giant, scary flat gun we got over there. But it should make things look a little bit easier. Things should go a little easier here. Let's go. Hinge. Hinge 3. We've got a hinge 3x3. And a hinge here. What am I looking at? Is this the one I'm looking at here? Okay, this looks bad. I don't know if I can add. Oh wait, that says add a hinge head. Uh-oh. Oh boy. Maybe in some trouble here. Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. Let's see. We've got that. Yeah. So I thought this was going to work. It doesn't appear to be. We're going to have to do some finagling, I think. Oh no, it's not going to let me. It's not going to let me. No, it's not. Well, we're going back to the original hinge concept. Oh boy. Yeah. Thank you, Space Engineers, for ruining that one. Okay. Right, CWIS. Let's see here. We can add a regular rotor head. We can add a medium rotor head or a small rotor head. I think we're going to add a rotor head. Medium rotor head, that just didn't help us out at all. All right, we've got that. We can add the big boy right here. We're just going to have to go with the big boy. It's just something we just can't get around. We're going to have to add the big guy on here. And we're going to delete that. And we're going to go back over here and reactivate this hinge. We're going to set it to CWIS. Used to you were able to do that. You were able to put small rotor or small hinges on medium hinges. All right, add a small head and turn you into right CWIS. There we are. It's beautiful. It's just beautiful. Now, we need to add some stuff to this. Make it work good. Number one, we're going to, let's see, what do I have here? Well, now we got number 6. Let's grab number 6 here. And what I'm going to do, you have a T shape already set in stone here. We're going to flip that around. And I don't know. Trying to figure out how I'm going to set this thing in here. What I want to get is 2 miniguns close enough together that they can, actually, I'll tell you what I ought to do. Let's do 1 right now. Let's do this 1. Come on, let's do this 1. And then I will add that and then a rounded conveyor there, or a curved. And then we're going to grab number 8. I'm going to jerk that up there. We're going to add that monster. And then we're just going to add, just for giggles, just a slightly smaller minigun. I could add 2. Actually, let's just do that. Let's just add 2. Let's just add 2 very imposing miniguns right here. I just say, yeah, screw you. We're not playing that game. So the camera, we are probably going to set on the side of one of these here. We're going to be able to see the camera on the side. It's going to have a little box shield that comes over that. And then all the way up here, I am going to turn this into a giant CWIS looking thing up top that we're going to just load up with a couple. What I'm going to do, I don't know what we're going to do. I could do it like that, or I could just kind of round it. I was going to put something in there. Now it just seems pointless to do that. Let's just, I think I can delete this and not lose the whole system. I was going to put something like a unit in there to work with, but I guess we won't do that. But this will be 2 straight up Gatling cannons loaded up right here, right on top of each other, which for a ship coming in, this is going to be a shredding problem. It's also going to be really good for dealing with other targets such as meteors and crap like that. We're going to just have extra firepower. Number 2. Number 2. We're going to add this bad boy right here on the back. That's going to be awesome. Then I also want to get this kind of looking good. So let's make it look like an actual CWIS gun, because it needs to look like a CWIS gun. We're going to take it up 2, 1, like so. Do that. And friggin' that. And then I'm going to do one of these. And possibly... No, we're going to do this. Just to make it look like a CWIS. It's got to look like a CWIS. So it's got the large deal on top of it. So it looks like a CWIS. So it'll look good. So we got this big CWIS looking thing up there. And then we've got to do some other crap to this thing as well, just to make it look a little better. This is going to be a little vulnerable, but it's not designed to be something that's going to brawl with other ships. This is just going to engage something as it gets close. And then we got flat cannons for enemy fighters and stuff. This is going to be one of those things that we can fire off and shoot at things. Make it all go away. Get mad at it, make it go away. So we have that working for us. I kind of wish I had done something different with the conveyors. I could have put them on the bottom, and that would have made it a lot better. We'll just go with this design for now, because then I can also just set my camera right here. Booyah. There we go. Camera set. So now the next thing that we got to figure out is how we're going to armor this bad boy. And tend to be a traditionalist here. let's just do that. This is quite possibly the easiest way to armor it up. There we go. And there we go. There we go. That looks nice. That's looking better. Then back here, we'll do the same thing. Same, but different. And then I can add a small layer here at the bottom. Actually, we're going to flip over here. So, we're going to grab this. We're going to add a couple of small blocks there. And then number 3. Number 3. Add those. And then we're going to do that. And that's going to give us a very nice looking CIWS gun, which I can also go back in. We can do some coloring to that and make it look good, make it work. All right, let's turn this CIWS gun and make it work. So number 1 is our azimuth. Should be a rotor in here. Right CIWS. And then we should have a hinge here. That says right CIWS. And oh boy, we have a camera we need to get a hold of. I gotta find that camera. Okay, should be on the same grid though. There we go. Camera. Right CIWS. There we are. That works. We'll hop out of here. Jump back in. Like I said, it's just this little tedious stuff that you've got to do. So there we go. We've got all that figured up. Let's go ahead and do R CIWS. There we are. And I'm going to need to grab the Warfare Gatlins we have here. Add those to this. Enable AI. Let's grab control of this bad boy for just a moment. There we go. That looks awesome. It's firing off both guns. It's operating as intended. Let's put it like that. It's operating as intended. Now, we also got to name both of these Warfare Gatlin cannons so they don't cause us any more problems. I should build a couple of these for an actual base or something. All right. Let's just do this. Warfare Gatlin guns. Warfare... Let's do this. Right CIWS gun there. And I'm going to take that away. And we're going to put this as right CIWS gun. Oh, did that one wrong. Nope. No, that's not supposed to be a capital S. There we go. Check that out. We have our right CIWS, 2 right CIWS guns set up. That's in their own entire groups. And that is the CIWS system right there. It's a pretty good looking little CIWS gun, if I say so myself. We also have a flat gun on the back. We'll have to build 2 more of these on either side. And so that'll complete most of the destroyer's armament. Like I said, it's really helpful that this thing doesn't have to have crazy amounts of... It doesn't need big guns. This is not a big gun ship. This is something that I can drive up next to an enemy installation and just start bombarding them with missiles and start making their lives a living heck. And they'll just be like screaming into the ether, trying to figure out where in the heck this stupid missiles are coming from. Here's a stupid amount of problems. Okay, now for our next flat gun. Ah, this is fun. More labeling. Like I said, I have sat here. Let's see, which one of these? There it is. Add small head, and I believe this is left flak right there. We've got a small hinge already added to it. And now we got to do to it what we did to the other one. So really, really darn simple here. Number 6. But yeah, the thing that has irritated me about the new No Man's Sky thing is I love the concept of the new system. Because if any of y'all haven't seen it yet, basically they just stole Starfield's ship maker and just put it in a game that's actually worth a damn. Let me see here. We've got Dylan Myron. How far can the missiles lock on from? The missiles can lock on from I believe 2,500 kilometers or 2.5 kilometers, I think. Now that sounds like a pretty decent range until you realize in space, because of the way the missiles are designed, they don't have a forward thruster to stop them. So once the missile picks up speed and the way it launches at a target, when I fire it, it goes up, arcs, and then the missile punches the speed, and then the engine shuts off. It goes into a dormant mode, and it just kind of loiters through space for a little bit until it restarts. Theoretically, they have an infinite range. So I can get 5 kilometers, 6, maybe 10 kilometers out, lock on to an enemy station, and just start chucking missiles. Once they hit that 2.5 kilometer range, then they start locking on to everything. And it's at that point, once they get within their lock on range, then the missiles begin to turn and start locking into things and go right at it. 2.5 Ks or 2,500 meters. Yeah, Eric Evans is right on that one. So the missiles have a very, very long range, which is why I said the missiles, after toying around, Grexion kind of showed me how to toy around. He's one of the guys that's in the Discord. If you want to learn something about missiles, just hop on there and type in Grexion and say, "Hey, I need to know about missiles." And Grexion's your guy. He will come in and be like, "Yeah, I got all your missile stuff right here," and he'll just go nuts. He's really good about that. When I was first doing this, I had all kinds of problems with missiles. I can do turrets. I can do a lot of things. Missiles were my weakness on this game. After Grexion got done, not a problem anymore. I can build missiles all day long if I want. And I can tell you right now, it was fun once that thing figured out what it was going to do. So then I was like, oh, okay, we can drop missiles now. We can fire stuff. And then after messing around with it, I realized, oh, hey, we can blow something up at a distance. We can really get some distance off these missiles and really start tearing up. So they're like 40K torpedoes. Yes. Morgan Trial, hello there. Yes, Dylan Myron, you are correct. They're like 40K torpedoes. You can just launch them from a distance, and they will just coast. They can coast all the way up there. So like I said, in space, they theoretically have an unlimited range. In atmosphere, they'll have however long the hydrogen tank will let them go, or battery. So you can make something that's more of an all electric missile, and it will do the same thing. It'll just loiter in the air and float over there until it finds a target and kills it. That's the beauty of these things. Number 2 here. Drop that on there. So now we have a friggin' autocannon turret over here. We've got 4 quad barrels. Let me see. Where did I put that? Oh, yeah, I put it on the bottom here. All right, we're going to put that on the same spot if I can. So let's see. Add these 2 blocks here. Couple blocks there. And then we're going to add our turret control block, which is going to let me also go in and label all this crap. So I can make sure that everything works when we get done. Let's spin that around. And there we are. Now, autocannons. So here we go. Autocannons again. We're going to put those in there as LF. Just like before. Same, but different. That's where we're going with this. But yeah, the missiles are easily, the missile is your best friend now. You can have, I'll put it like this, you can have 1 missile launch that sucker from a distance and it will mess the crap out of something real good if it hits. We're on the PDC grid now, eh? Yeah. So Morgan Trial is asking about the PDC grid. We've got 3 of the PDC cannons done. And this is just, and the PDCs are not really there to provide that much of a defense. I like a little bit of character in my ships. And that's one of them. This is one of the characters with the ship is, that's weird. Okay, we're going to put that in there as left black. There we go. Now everything should be set up here. We should need left black. Over here, we should also get left back hinge, and I just realized I did not get that camera labeled. Camera. Whoops, that's not supposed to be there. Left black. My plan is to at least get this done before we do anything else, or before I go to bed tonight. So I'm going to have to get to bed early. And at the rate this is going, I'm going to get all these done. Booyah. Okay, let's grab our... Okay, why did that work? All right, there we go. Got them now. Move those over, AI on. Control that for a minute. I want to see if this works. Yeah, that's ruthless. How many are you making? Just 4. We're going to have 1 set of flat guns on each side. We're going to have 1 flat gun punching off on each side and 1 CWIS gun operating on each side. So this will provide a whole lot more stability when we're shooting with it. Like I said, it's not going to be like this overpowered. I don't like the whole overpowered ship thing where it does everything. We can launch. We can do a whole lot of stuff. I want a specialized ship. That's what I want it to be. And the ship is highly specialized. It simply shoots missiles at a target. It doesn't care about the missiles. It's like, yeah, F you. We're going to start sending in missiles and crap. Very America nowadays. Very, well, I'll put it like this. Very America when the Democrats are involved. Because they're like, chuck a missile at it. It'll be fine. And then the missile misses. And before you know it, buildings start falling down. And that's an actual true story. We had the ability to hit, who was the guy? Osama bin Laden? And in the Clinton years, they're like, yeah, we're going to take this guy. Or let me do this in the Clinton wars. Yeah, everybody, we're going to go in there while I'm in the back banging Monica Lewinsky. We're going to blow Osama bin Laden up inside of his little training camp. Lo and behold, I think they launched like, what was it, 8 cruise missiles, and only 7 of them hit. And the one where Osama bin Laden was at, that was the 10th that didn't get hit by a cruise missile. So it's like, oh boy. And then towers fell down. The Bush administration takes over. Hey, look, the twin towers are falling down. I wonder how that happened. So it's just stupid shit like that. Like I said, they Democrats. You if you want to know what the mission objective is at the time, Democrats want to drop bombs at a distance because they don't want to really get. They act like they want to fight, but they don't really want to. And Republicans are just a little too anxious to get into a fight. And a lot of military guys just are just probably listening right now, going, "Yeah, yeah, he's out of line, but he's right. He's right." You see them walk in there and they're just like, one side really wants to get into a fight, and the other side's like, "Yeah, no, we want to get into a fight too, but we're going to do it from a distance." And you can't just drop bombs on a target. That doesn't always work. You've got to, at some point in time, you got to send a SEAL Team 6 in there to F somebody up. Let's see. Smelly Rabbit, Thump Thump, my favorite caliber, ooh woo. Yeah, you saying that ooh woo there at the end makes me remember that guy with the airsoft gun that went ooh woo. God, that would be a mod on Space Engineers. Every time you fired a gun, it goes ooh woo. What the heck would the rail? So here's the thing. Here's the thing. What would the rocket sound like? Because you'd have to make it all hentai based. What would the rocket sound like? And what the frick would the railgun sound like? Because that thing has several sound effects before it finally charges up and explodes. Let's see. Smelly Rabbit, LOL. Morgan Trial, good old layered defense. Morgan Trial, wow. Yeah. Like I said, this is one of those things where it'll just have a whole lot of fun stuff. Let's see here. Left Sea-Whiz, because that's the next one we're working on is the Sea-Whiz guns. I want real sound mod that makes more realistic bang sounds, by the way. I use one for all my other machines. Morgan Trial, I don't want to know. Yeah, yeah, it's probably best we leave that. It's probably like Mech Warrior and the Canopus Cat Girls. It's just best we don't talk about that. Some of you are going to be like, "Wait, what? What do you mean? What do you mean, Cat Girls of Canopus? I need to know about this." Before any of y'all look that up, I'm just going to tell you right now, it's a cybernetic mod that they do. It's how they explain it, and so they have that is the American anime right there. If I can just get this darn thing to lock in. Okay, that's locked. And so there we go, right there. Because we got to make all this look the same. Out. And we got one. We got two. We got two massive cannons or Gatling guns ready to start stomping somebody's head in because they didn't pay their electric bill this month. Let's go ahead and slap the camera here that we normally had before. And I also need to go over here and check the other side of this so I can see what it is I did over here. Ah, okay. I see what I did. I see what I did. Guess I know. That Sea-Whiz looks really good. Okay, where's my turret control block number one? And let's start doing some programming. We need to set some stuff up here. One turret controller, uh, L dash Sea-Whiz number one. We'll do that. Let me check here what everyone's in. Morgan Trial, I'm confused, but I don't care to find out. Smelly Rabbit, I don't know how feasible it would be. But imagine if the sound quality of this game's firearms were the same quality as Hunt Showdown or something. It would be next level immersive. Yes, and I tend to look at this and think they may do something similar to that in later in like the Space Engineers 2. I wonder about this because let me explain something about this. I just realized that other turret controller right there is not done properly. That's gonna piss me off, and I'm just gonna sit there and oops. Ew. Yeah, I've got too deep of a voice to do that. There's no way I could catfish anyone into thinking I'm some cute anime girl. We just might as well quit while we're ahead. Okay, where's our Warfare Gatling guns? Warfare Gatling gun. Hey, looky there. We're gonna set this as Sea-Whiz guns. Let's see, what is it? Left Sea-Whiz gun. So, in terms of MechWarrior, let me go ahead and just mention this right now, so you guys can understand what I'm talking about. The thing about the Canopus cat girls are kind of like a joke. So, in MechWarrior, there is I've actually got the MechWarrior Mercenaries game. If you guys want to see me and a couple other guys hop on and just start blowing stuff up. The the thing about the MechWarrior games is there's so much stuff in lore that you will start looking into and you'll be like, whoa, wait a minute. Uh, what about all this stuff? I just realized I got a camera I got to find too. Camera, let's see. Camera, what is that? Left CWIS, there we go. That's done there. Let's go back and here's our current controller. This should go a lot easier this time around. Let's see. I need advanced rotor, left CWIS. For our hinge, we need hinge left CWIS. For our camera, left CWIS. We're going to go down here and we're going to look for left CWIS gun. Throw those in there. Enable AI. Hit the turret control movement. Gatling guns go burr. Yeah, Gatling gun goes burr. So, great idea. So, Canopus Catgirl, basically, the concept of Canopus. So, Canopus is a planetary body where a group of chicks basically take over. And they don't create a. It's not a feminist society. I'll say that. It's not a, oh, look, we created a society. We're going to make it all feminist. Women are in charge, but they actually, for somehow, they actually found the chicks with brains. And nope. And they actually run everything, and it runs beautifully. Okay, Canopus is actually, and part of the reason why it runs good is because the first time was a complete failure. First time they did it, they're like, yeah, we're going to make our own, you know, society ruled by women. And first thing that happened was a group of guys showed up and just basically took everything. So then they're like, okay, we're going to do this again, but this time no more peace, love, and happiness. Some of you are going to have to learn, some of you women are going to have to learn how to defend us. And so then they realize also, having a couple dudes who are willing to, hop into a mech warrior pilot and just pilot a big mech around, that's useful. And so guys had a place in this society, and it just kind of worked from there. And it was actually pretty interesting how it all went down. But then after that happened, one of the things that goes on in the MechWarrior universe was this thing called the Canopus Catgirl, and basically what this is, it's like a Neku. Basically, they are people. They can be MechWarrior pilots. There's no lore that says they can't. And MechWarrior is more of like an RPG with giant robots. BattleTech is more of like the tabletop warfighting game. And the cool thing about the entire system, this is the best part. So some of y'all that are interested in getting involved in MechWarrior, the cool part about the MechWarrior system is MechWarrior's RPG can be easily plugged into the BattleTech system. So you can have an RPG inside of a tabletop game. That is the big lore, that is the big allure of the BattleTech universe right there, if you're doing tabletop. Because then you can have these really personal moments with the characters you create in the role play. But then when you get out there, you can have these massive battles where you're fighting thousands. Like you can go, it goes from like, it's like having an RPG in Warhammer 40K that works with the Warhammer 40K tabletop military stuff. So you can be you and your team of guys, you and other players can be like have this one moment where you're like doing small things for the Imperium, and then the Terminids can attack. And you've got to jump in there and you've got to start commanding each one of your guys can start commanding legions or doing something specific in the battlefield. And we do that. You're kind of like a hero in that aspect of it, if you understand where I'm coming from on that. But in there on the Canopus Catgirl thing, oh, those actually look pretty good. I need to pull the Power of God out here. Not like that. Not like that. I pushed one button and didn't push the other. Let's slip this around here. Yay. Check that out. All right. That's actually pretty good looking. I'll do some stuff to make that kind of stand out. But now we got flak guns and we have a series of CWIS guns. So this is like the most of the armament this ship's going to need right here. It's not going to need a whole lot of other stuff to defend itself with. But yeah, so anyway, the whole nonsense with Canopus and all that. So that going around, Canopus happens. The second go around of Canopus, the women that are in charge realize, hey, you know what? We need men in society. If they're willing to go fight in a war for us, we ought to let them do it. And so they provide something like guys still don't have the same rights as the women do, but there is a place in society for the men. So another thing that also happens is they're kind of all like, yeah, if a woman wants to go out there and do, let's just say, adult activities for money, they should be allowed to do it. So then there's also this whole thing starts up on a kind of cybernetic adult entertainment where people, where what will happen is a chick will go in there and she's like, she's probably like, really pretty, but she wants to add a little more flair. She wants to get the weebs. So she'll go in and have augmentations done where she'll have cybernetic augmentations where kind of like cyberpunk, where they'll just kind of take certain limbs off and they'll just replace them with like limbs with. She'll have hands that have a little bit of fake fur and retractable claws. She'll have like the really powerful limbs, lower body limbs, where she can do large jumps, have a tail fused into her spine or whatnot, cat ears, maybe modify her eyes a little bit with cybernetics, and she looks indistinguishably from a Japanese Neko. It's a very rare thing to find in BattleTech outside of Canopus. You can find them all over the place, and it's not just limited to cat girls. So you will have people who will fuse the lower half of their body to like a centaur robot, or you'll have someone fuse in, do the same lower body surgery, but turn themselves into like a mermaid, basically. And there's a whole, like, if you can imagine a humanoid fantasy creature, Canopus probably has it. And the thing about it is, it's voluntary. There's no, I don't believe there's slavery on Canopus. There's slavery on a lot of planets in BattleTech, but Canopus is one of them that isn't. And Canopus has its own military. After they get done with the first ass whooping they take, they turn around. They just go full hard military. So they've got a military run mostly by chicks, but they are qualified. And they come to this conclusion of we have to have qualified people running the military. We can't just do just because that's so there's some dudes who do run some stuff in the military in some areas, if you know what I'm talking about there. And that's where things get really interesting with BattleTech. And that's like one facet of it. There are tons of stuff, like with let's see, Hunchbacks, for instance. or the Periphery, or what is it? House Davion, House Steiner, their little conflict resolution they're going on with the universal hatred for Capellans. And then you introduce the clans. You've got space weebs that are you've you have everything. You have all the good stuff. You have stuff for bread people, which is the communists, which is the Capellans, or House Liao, which is Chinese communists. And then on the other side of the galaxy, you have space weebs who come in there with samurai swords and bonsai charge with piece of shit mechs. You have House Davion, who loves all their freaking autocannons. House Merrick, who just basically are in a slap fight the entire time until someone interferes with their invades one of their neighbors. Then all of a sudden the slap fight is over until we whoop the snot out of whoever this guy is. And then you have House Steiner, who pretty much just runs entire battles by just throwing money at it. House Steiner doesn't win by strategy half the time. They win by, okay, we're going to build shit and just throw it at the enemy. They literally throw money at the problem until it goes away. And then you have the Rasselhog Republic, which is a combination of Vikings and samurais, which is just nuts. And then the clans come into play. And the clans are a bunch of space eugenics who have their own space, who have literal monsters that could take on your average space marine, which are the elementals, and they're good God, they're a terrifying force to be reckoned with. Let's see, Smelly Rabbit here. Warhammer has genetically augmented cat girls as a joke too. Furry cons on Canopus must be terrifying. LOL. Um, no, not really. Canopus has a really, if I recall correctly, I think Canopus is really strict on that stuff. Like, there's a death penalty for rapists on that planet or in that system. No lie. Um, it's very interesting some of the lore you can get into with BattleTech. And a lot of it's great. A lot of it's just really stupid. Tukiet is wild. If you ever like, that's one of the biggest runs, and it's like the final boss. So everyone's running stuff. All the noble houses are doing their thing, and you have Comstar in the background, and so they get involved. And the clans they invade. Before they invade, Clan Wolf decides, hey, we're going to send in an advanced scout unit to the inner sphere, which is where all the noble houses are, and we're going to have them mess around, do stuff. So they send in the Wolves Dragoons. The Wolves Dragoons come in there. They drop in as a mercenary unit for hire. And one of the first battles they drop in and they bring the Annihilator. They have a brand new mech no one's ever seen before. And everyone just kind of, and the guys they're working for just kind of stop and look at him like, so what is that thing? They go, oh shit. I'm like, oh, this is an Annihilator. Like, oh, really? Yeah. What does it do? It's a custom mech we had built. Uh-huh. And they're like, shit, we've already blown our cover right now. And the other guy goes, well, I'm glad you guys are on our side. Walk off. And the Wolves Dragoons are like, oh, these people are stupid. We're gonna be fine. So then Wolves Dragoons gets like this major reputation. They're the guys, if you can call them in a fight, they decide a battle almost instantaneously. And then the clans invade, and everyone's like, and it's been like several generations. So some of the Wolves Dragoons don't know what the mission is. They've been generational mech warriors, and that's usually how it goes, like generational. And the Wolves Dragoons end up splitting. Like the Wolves Dragoons show up to a battle, and everyone's like, "Yes, the Wolves Dragoons are here to help us out." And the Wolves Dragoons go, "Actually, we're a splinter group. We're a faction that's working for the clans." And then half of the Wolves Dragoons go, the entire galaxy basically goes, what? And half the Wolves Dragoons turn to the veterans and go, what? They didn't know they were a splinter unit. And then the other Wolves Dragoons, the veterans, go, oh yeah, we didn't tell you guys that. Then they split. And then while they're out there, they go into Tukiet, and they basically, the clans are just, and this is the thing you got to realize about the clans when they got introduced. The clans were cheap as F. Okay. The clans, when they would come in, it's like everything they did was better. They had better heat sinks. They had better mechs. Their mechs had better internal skeletal systems. Their mechs had better armor. Their mechs had better Mylomir, which is what pushes the mech. They had better weapon systems with better heat management. Yeah, they have better heat sinks than the Inner Sphere did. They had better weapon systems, which had longer ranges. The one of the things of MechWarrior, if you go right up to the clan invasion, you fire LRM systems, they have a minimum range. They have a minimum affected. They have a minimum range in which they must be fired at. Meaning that if you get with inside that minimum range, if you get, say, the minimum range is like 800 meters, if you can get in the 800-meter range, the missile will not lock on. It cannot be used. So the thing that the thing that Intersphere mechs would do is they would just charge right into the inside zone of a long range missile rack mech, and they'd start pounding away at it with brawler like capability. And they do this to the first Timberwolf, and the clans when BattleTech did this is kind of funny. BattleTech puts in the first deal on the clans, and they said, "Yeah, we've got this. They have a minimum effective range," and then they had a typo go in, and it said minimum effective range 0, and so then everyone's like, "So I can basically take a long range cruise missile and just full burst that sucker at point blank range with a clan mech?" And I was like, "Oh, that's a new thing we've got to learn. We can't just bum rush a frickin' Timberwolf, which is already terrifying in its own right. There's an entire lore dump on that nonsense right there on how that mech got to be into position. And it's one of the best mechs in the game, and which is now it's on Mech Warrior Mercenaries. I should get Mech Warrior. I should get the expansion for Mech Warrior Mercenaries, get them all updated, and we should just do a long run until I get my Timberwolf. But you'd run right up to a Timberwolf, and they were like, a lot of mech warriors were like, "Yes, we're inside of your minimum range. Your LRMs are worthless." And they're like 200 meters from the basic Mad Cat is what the Inner Sphere calls it, and it just says, "Ha, that's cool." Belch, just vomit missiles into a guy's cockpit, and just killed him. And it was like, oh, this is different. There's no minimum range on these things. So the clans could fire it long. Like I said, they had all kinds of stupid stuff. Every one of their soldiers were like genetically modified. They're picked out of a gene pool, and those genes were used with selective breeding programs to make better mech warriors who could handle a lot of the systems. One thing that they don't really talk about in there is when you're a mech warrior, one of the reasons people become mech warriors in the universe is because piloting a mech is kind of like being on drugs. You hop into a machine, you throw in a neuro helmet, and the neuro helmet just pumps all the information into your brain. And your body interprets that as feeling. So if a mech gets hit, you feel the impact on your shoulder or wherever on the mech's body that it's been hit. That's where you feel it at. Some mech warriors are so attuned to this and so capable of running it that they can feel wind touching the mech. It feels like they're naked outside there, and it causes a weird euphoria effect when you're fighting. So you've already got a dude who's questionable mental state getting even worse while he's out there on a battlefield. And the clans, the problem with this is some people can sit there for they can operate a mech. An average person can kind of operate a mech. They're not too good at it. Usually, if they stay in far too long, it'll fry your brain. Some people they can just stay in there forever. They're capable of doing it. Many members of Blackwatch, good God, Blackwatch. But anyway, the clans begin to just selectively breed people who are just better mech warriors. So their mech warriors coming in they're just better. Their infantry are pretty much they basically mass produce space marines or something that the average space marine is going to have a very difficult time fighting. Your average space marine does not just straight up take on a tank. The average elemental power armor soldier does not give a fuck about infantry. They don't even care. It's a non-issue to them. What they're doing is they're walking through there saying, "Oh, look, there's a 30-story battle mech. Yeet!" They have jump jets. They come flying at you. I think what was it? Science Insanity said it perfectly. He said they come out of the forest like a hyped up, coked out meth gorilla that flies through the air. It just comes at you and just starts ripping your mech once it latches on. It starts tearing your mech apart. It's got weapon systems that can tear things totally apart. And the guy inside is built like a tank. He can take a car wreck at 150 miles an hour once he finally gets the car, once he finally gets done bending the frame and getting himself out, he walks out with a slight cut over his eye and a mild concussion. It doesn't stop him. They're really tough. And all of that to say, all of that limitless technology, and to just show you how cheap the clans are at getting a tactical advantage over everyone. Normally, when you send out a lance of mechs in the inner sphere is 4 mechs. Fucking clanners don't do that. They go, oh, hey, look, you have a lance, we have a star. The star runs 5 mechs. We have one extra over your 4 dinky mechs. By the way, every one of them is better. Every one of them has better range. Every one of them can run longer than yours. They can eat heat like it's nothing. Oh, yeah, and our armor is better than yours. Have fun with that. So there's a whole big, and so like the whole Battle of Tukid comes down to the clans basically beating the dog shit out of everybody, and then they run to the final boss, which is Comstar and the Wolves Dragoons, as I was talking about before. The Wolves Dragoons come up and they're like, no, they're talking to Clan Wolf, and Clan Wolf's like, okay, all the clans are thinking about going in there and fighting Comstar. What do y'all know about Comstar? And Clan Wolf basically gets told by Wolf's Dragoons. The Wolves Dragoons go in not so many terms go, yeah, this is Comstar. They're gonna cheat. They're gonna cheat so badly. You just need to be prepared for some tactical fuckery because when they say honorable combat, what they mean is we're gonna find a way to kick you in the dick, then stab you in the back. So we're gonna do it, and then kick you in the dick again, just to make sure you stay down and slit your throat. Comstar is not the Comstar is not the person you want to screw with. And Comstar, the Battle of Tukid, I tell you what you ought to do. If y'all want to understand the Battle of Tukid in absolute vivid detail, look up Tex of the Black Pants Legion, Battle of Tukid, or just look up Tex of the Black Pants Legion's YouTube channel and look for a battle section that says Tukid. You will find that. That guy has the best raspy Elliot Ness voice you have ever heard. He sounds like a dude who has been just smoking cigars and sipping whiskey his entire life, and he's like 80 something years old, and you're around the campfire with Grandpa on his ranch, and he's going in there and he comes in with his nice low voice. Now, hello everybody. We're about to tell you the Battle of Tukid. We're a series of mech warriors and basically the pinnacle of human selective breeding got their asses kicked by space AT&T. That is how the whole entire you just turn that on. You're just like sitting there going, "Oh yeah, this is awesome. I could listen to this all damn day long. I could listen to Tex talk about I could literally listen to Tex talk about the most mundane thing on the planet." And you're just sitting there like, "Yeah, this is awesome." You could do that all day long. Yeah, let me read through some of these comments, man. Smelly Rabbit, it's just a prank, bro. Yeah, I don't know what that was. Probably something I was talking about. Morgan Trial, wow, talk about dropping the ball. Yeah, the some of the stuff that happens in Mech Warrior, when you say dropping the ball, some of the stuff that happens in Mech Warrior is just fucking stupid. Um, the Gray Death Legion, for instance, is just the pettiest motherfucker. A guy who cheats just about every other area of the planet of the game, and he ends up being the most petty. He's the one dude who gets one over on Comstar, and they never forgive him for it. And how he gets over on them is just absolutely just chef's kiss. It's amazing. Smelly Rabbit. Can't it like eat your soul if you stay too long in the system and get you eternally trapped inside the mech hardware? That is, I don't think so. I think that's like one of the whole ghost story things. There is like some old ghost stories. The scariest one is when the Capellans, again, Capellans, everybody needs to kick the Capellans in the shins for something. You don't need a reason. They just done something dumb, promise you. They have been create some kind of super AI, and the super AI turns around and basically takes control of stuff, and it just goes completely nuts. Oh, by the way, the super killer Skynet AI is on a planet full of zombies who know how to use guns. So figure that one out while you're sitting there like, oh, what? Renegade Bundy, hello, man. We're just about to wrap things up. We got the guns on. So I guess before we go, let's go ahead and look over. I have a leak back here. We're going to have to find that and fix it. We have fired missiles at a target again. Um, Working on this now. We have gotten the guns hooked up. We have over here, we have a set of flat guns, which will be firing at targets. And then over here, we have two twin CWIS guns. And the whole purpose of this is just to protect, is just to ward off anything over here. Because one of the main defenses of this destroyer is it also carries about three fighters with it. Each one of those is armed with, each one basically carries a quad, one flat gun's worth of autocannon firepower, and four missiles apiece, which is our F-302 model that I built. And then this entire ship here, despite not having any major big guns like a railgun or anything like that, it's going to set the missiles. It can just sit back and siege a target while everyone else goes in there and just starts hammering from other distances. Morgan Trial, wait, what? Yeah, it's a zombie planet. Fair, I just got home after going for a motor ride with my father and sister. Hey, keep those good times going, man. My brother-in-law just buried his dad just about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and you don't have a lot. You don't have all the time you think you got. So enjoy. I'm not. I don't hold that against you, man. I hope you enjoyed the time with your dad, and I hope you have a lot more time with your dad, as much as you can get, and just always remember that. Just try to stay with him. Right now, I'm sitting there. My dad's like in his 60s, fixing to be in his 70s here pretty soon. And every chance I get, every time I get a chance to go work with him, I'm out there with him, and we're just talking, cutting up, or we're getting into an argument, making memories, all that good stuff. But yeah, like I said, I should do I should put a vote up to see if you guys want to see me and a full squad of people, full squad of guys do like a mech warrior thing. I think Dog might have Mech Warrior Mercenaries, and that's probably the best Mech Warrior game you're going to get right now. And that is also based on Mech Warrior Online, so you would have the ability to really work with that and get some, and there'd be a lot of really cool stuff that could come on from it. But for that, yeah, that would be a pretty interesting way of going about it, doing that. It would also give me something that we could reasonably do like a career mode and just run through it. Mortality sucks. We should fix it. Reality, let me explain something right now. I tell people don't realize this. I tell people all the time the reason why we have such a weird fascination with death is because technically if you go by biblical standards, it's not natural. We were never intended to die according to God. We were supposed to live forever. And then everything got effed up. And now everyone sits back and says, well, death is a natural thing. No, it's not. It's not supposed to be a natural thing. We're not supposed to go through this nonsense. So, hopefully things will get fixed up in the future. Who knows? Uh, Mortality is the only thing that makes life precious. Yeah, but still, it sucks. I'm gonna say that right now. I don't know. I like naps and coffee, smelly rabbit, and building mad crazy inventions though too. I could do that forever. Yeah, I think if you were, I tend to remember what was it, Highlander. I think it was episode 2 or 3 where the Chinese guy has the mind control drug that he's giving people, and him and Duncan MacLeod are talking there, and he tells Duncan MacLeod, he says he's complaining about the fact that he's not smart enough to solve all the problems that he wants to solve, and he says, imagine if Michelangelo or Galileo were an immortal like us, what secrets could they woo from nature? Because they would have all the time in the world to they would have all the time in the world. You'd have these geniuses, these men that were once in a generation individuals who had a different way of thinking, and they could just go through and start working through the whole system and figuring things out. Ain't no telling what they could find. The whole point of mortality, though, is it's kind of sucks, in my opinion. We should be, we were supposed to be, we were, I feel, put it like this, we were supposed to live forever, and then we got screwed over. But anyway, I guess the next live stream I'm going to do is probably going to be Helldivers, and we're going to be doing some fun stuff. Unless you guys really push for MechWarrior, which I've still got that on my PC, and we can do MechWarrior. I'll have to get the update because they added an update and they added the Timberwolf and a bunch of clan mechs now too in clan tech. And now we have omnipods and all that good stuff. Oh yeah, I forgot. Clans have omnipods, meaning they can take one of their mechs and just go from one system to the next because everything is universal on there. So they can just go. We can switch all the long range crap off for short range crap. We can go medium or some kind of combination in between, and we can really f you up. But yeah, I've got to do more of this stuff, and I'm glad I can get back on this and get these guns finished because now the ship is starting to take its shape. I think I'm gonna upload the mod for the air thing because I don't want to spend 4 episodes or 4 more parts of this trying to find a freaking leak. We're just gonna find the leak, plug it, and then go immediately to painting it. And then once I'm done painting it, this thing can go up on the workshop and you guys can play around with it, test it out. It's clingy as all get out, but all those missiles. So I gotta, yeah, and that's the other thing. I've got to program all the missiles in. I got to program the turrets, and after that, this thing is pretty much done once a paint job gets on there, and then we're all right. Yes, I often think this about the greatest minds we've seen. If only we had a few more days, months, years, so much progress. Yes, yes, so much progress. Maybe with AI, maybe one day we can download our consciousnesses to a computer system and we can all sit there and have a whole lot of fun. I just hope they don't do the whole alien thing like they're doing with the Disney show right now. But anyway, thank you all for watching. I am Badger Wild saying stay safe, stay frosty, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye for now.